Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another Star Wars The Bad Batch review and all that stuff. This time the 13th episode of the second season, titled Pabu. But before that, I just want to make a quick announcement for those who do not know. Disney Plus has decided Disney has decided to cancel Lucasfilm's Willow, which is a bit disappointing for me because I was reviewing the show. Granted, to my understanding, the viewership wasn't exactly as what they were expecting compared to Mandalorian levels. I'm hearing some saying that Mandalorian viewership is in decline, but I need to look more into that. But compared to the last two seasons, but yeah, but it ended on a cliffhanger. I was reviewing the show's episodes a bit. Let's see. I got quite a fair, decent number of views, particularly when I reviewed the episodes. Let's see on the day that came out, but compared to what my other channel does, but at the very least, I was like disappointed because I was hoping to see if they could probably improve in season 2. I liked it for the most part, but I think they could have worked in the dialogue. Too modern in some cases, but yeah, it ended on a cliffhanger, and yeah, what they're going to do with that the Willow universe from After the Woods, I have no idea. For I know, could just decide to make the show no canon. But who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's a shame because I was really looking forward to seeing more of Warwick Davis. But yeah. But now I got that out of the way, I'm going to back to Bad Batch, Pabu. Last two episodes have been, of course, phenomenal with the Turn the Zillo Beast plotline and that crosshair one with Clone Commander Mayday, where it seems like he finally has had enough of like Imperials treating clones like crud. Ends up shooting one, and and clearly being set up for arguably the final phase of the final 2 episodes of the story. Now, will this episode follow up? On what they've done on those last 2 episodes done, or be on its own thing? Well, we're about to find out. The first episode literally starts off with I believe on the planet. Arguably the same planet in which they ended up meeting. Well, Cantina looks like very similar to the planet they end up meeting. I'm trying to remember her name. Let me just get Book of Boba Fett. Let me just see. Let's see. Oh yeah, it looks like Fennec Shan. I can't believe I forgot her name for a second. Too many Star Wars characters to remember, but yeah. Looks like the same place with the Bad Batch run into her and all that stuff. And they end up there with Fee Geno to meet up with a dealer called Lance Crowder, who I may be not sure if this is correct or not, but seems to be the voice, might be having the same voice of the bounty hunter from the Old Republic game, MMO, and all that stuff. They're doing a sort of trade thing for the sort of like jaded tree artifact for credits. Exchange goes through, but the guy is trying to have her assassinated first by Poison Mug, and then tries to poison her with this Lance Crowder tries to poison her with a Kahohan, those with centipede things that Sam Riesel and Jango Fett try to assassinate Padme with. But can stop that. As a result, a skirmish fights out when you have Hunter and Wrecker as the backup. You have Hunter sort of saving Fee with killing that insect thing. And they escape with the treasure and the credits and all that stuff. And they take off. With Fee congratulating them on their missions and they're having much fun. They end up getting a contact from Sid, if you will. And with her being annoyed that for the last 20 cycles they've not been in contact, and there's also a few contracts for them not having the mercenary come and assist her and all that stuff. As a result, she starts to threaten them with what she knows, and Fee ends up realizing that the Bad Batch have been trying to separate ties with Sid, but it's not been easy and all that stuff. And it didn't feel like a mutual agreement, but she does warn them that you can't really Sid's a good person, you don't really want to double cross her. So she offers to take them a place where they can lay low for a while and all that stuff. And ends up taking them to a planet called Pabu, which is the name of the thing and all that stuff. Let's see. It's a planet with a peaceful island called Pabu, where they end up meeting the host there, Mayor Hazard, also known as Sheep Hazard, the sort of chubby guy, and daughter Lana Hazard, who befriends Omega and they end up playing there and all that stuff, along with I believe these let's see what they're called. Let's see, I believe they're called well, besides meeting a man called an Inepto and all that stuff, who mentions a few of the relatives and all that stuff, but let's take a look at the creatures. What are they called? Sentient creatures, sentient beings. No. Locations, droid. Oh, yeah. Monio. These are little sort of like monkey, like raccoon fit, like lemur kind of things, but yeah. But anyway, the Bad Batch end up pretty much exploring the place where Fee is telling them how it's Fee and the mayor ends up telling them it's a safe refugee thing, and let's see, where refugees go to try and escape from like the Clone Wars and then the Empire coming and all that stuff. And Fee ends up taking artifacts and bringing them here because to try and get cultural heritage of the refugees so they can keep it alive and all that stuff. So yeah, so they end up having fun with Omega eventually going with Lana on the boat to take a look at the thing, and they have dinner there. The Bad Batch Wrecker gets full, which is a funny moment there, and they talk about whether or not to stay here and all that stuff. But Hunter ends up noticing like the lemur thing, the Munya, running and all that stuff, hearing a breeze, and they realize that a tsunami is coming and all that stuff, threatening the city. At first, it seems to be like only a minor one because of the tremors and all that stuff, but then they realize that it's actually a big one and all that stuff, and it's the first one that's been this big since 3 decades. So there's now an operation to try and get all the civilians up and safely left to Fee and Fee and Echo dealing with one group, trying to get them up some ladders, and Wrecker and the mayor, these other guys, of which I believe one of them is the last one they end up picking up is the guy I mentioned earlier. I think his name is Inetta, yeah. The elder man and all that stuff. You have Wrecker grabbing him while Hunter is getting the ship. The Bad Batch's ship to rescue Omega and Lana, who had to jump off their boat before it crashed into some rocks and all that stuff. They get on. They just all make it to the top of the thing before the tsunami hits from the tower thing. And as a result, the whole village, everyone is alive, but the whole village is rebuilt. It'll take a few cycles to, fully repair the episode. And with the Bad Batch particularly Hunter and Tech agreeing to, because, Wrecker's asleep with Omega and Lana, and they agree to stay on Pabu a bit to help rebuild the efforts, ending the episode. Well, as you can see, it is a very quick summary and why I end up being in like it is. But yeah, this episode pretty much feels like another filler episode, which is kind of a shame. I mean, the Bad Batch has been doing quite well with these very plot-heavy episodes with like the Scylla Beast with like the cloning thing with Kamit, with like what the Empire is planning to do with clones, and let's see, the next last episode being Crosshair, where it seems like he's at the breaking point of the Empire and all that stuff. Instead to now go to a sort of like a very quiet episode, really, that doesn't really have much to say. I don't really have much to say, really, but well, I could try, but who knows? But yeah, but feels more like filler. But I guess they wanted to try and do a calm before the storm, just a bad batch of adventure. But yeah, but I have a feeling that for many fans, whenever like they see Fee, they're gonna like, oh great, it's gonna be a filler episode. So I feel that character's just gonna get a bit of a more negative reception just by the fact that let's see, her episodes are more fillerish than rather plot heavy and all that stuff. I mean, I don't mind the character itself. I do like how she's trying to teach Omega a few things, and ends up helping the Bad Batch try to explore new places and all that stuff. And I do think she's quite the pal to try and help the Bad Batch find a place to lay low from Sid for a while and find sanctuary and all that stuff. So yeah, I think she's pretty decent and all that stuff. I do like how clever she is as well with like the whole trade-off with those with this what's his name? Let's see, Lance Crowder, who let's see, from what I can tell, doesn't seem to be an all new type of gangster from my understanding. I mean, from what I can tell, there's no let's see, new design. This is sort of new design group. Whether or not it's going to be arguably there's going to be a one-off thing, but I do quite like the design, which of like their helmets and all that stuff. So yeah, let's see. I think they're going to be a one-off gang, but if they could appear more in future episodes, even if another Star Wars thing, I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I don't expect to see them much. But yeah, I do like sort of like a bit of exchange, like let's see, do you have the money or how can I tell if it's authentic? And it's like okay, one expects what and all that stuff. So yeah, but of course, let's see, it seems let's see Lance Crowder, though granted both groups might be trying to get both the credits and the treasure, but he seems to want to keep the artifact and the credits and tries to poison. But I do like how Fee's able to figure out, okay, yeah, I know what you're trying to do. But yeah, but the one thing I'm kind of like, at the very least with this bit, is the fact that you've got those Kohan, let's see, insectoid, centipede-like, let's see, creatures that were used to try and assassinate Padme in this episode. I feel like they've been a bit underused. I'm not sure about if that was the case in the Legends canon, but in the Disney canon, we haven't really seen them since then. But yeah, so it's nice to see. And we end up learning a bit about how they would have been used to try and assassinate Padme with like the sting tails on their backs. So yeah, we end up seeing a little bit more built up of those. I believe Kanhor, let's see, Kohan and all that stuff. So there was that. But yeah. But I do like how you've had Hunter keeping, let's see, Hunter and Wrecker being the muscle backup from behind the scenes and just not drawing attention to themselves until need be, like, let's see, Hunter, the knife to kill the Kree, the centipede, the Kohana thing, and Wrecker becoming the muscle when a bit more gangs surround them. But it's interesting how they seem to broil Omega here. It's like, let's see, not the best parents to like guardians to like bring a child to a trade-off between pirates and criminals, but she's like, but as she said, she's a liberator of treasure. But yeah, but I do like how she seems to be trying to teach her how to do bargains, which, like, I guess in her line of like Omega's lifestyle, she's gonna probably have to learn some of these tricks and all that stuff. So yeah. But yeah, but I do like the sort of, let's see, gunfight that comes out. Let's see, Lana, granted, there's a lack of death, I'd say, in this episode, unless something like Lana Crowder's criminal gangs got killed, but he ends up being trapped by a bell, or like a giant lamp thing that looks like the shape of a bell. I do like how Omega's the one to shoot it down. It shows a bit of tact in her, but yeah. But of course, you have, let's see, Tech playing cards, and since this is Fee episode. She seems to mostly have an interest in tech, but I figured instead of tech, I just use Hunter's image because Wrecker's image because I feel like I've only used it once. And I'd rather not have like another echo situation, but who knows? But yeah. But either way, yeah. So we got that, and yeah. And you have a bit. He's playing gritty credits against himself when talking to the gunk droid, saying how I don't think this is the way I have a challenge, but yeah. I mean, props him to manage to make a challenge out of himself, but I wouldn't be able to do that just because, well, pretty much I just know what I'm just going to do next, but who knows? I guess Tech is able to try and do it to have a bit more restraint than that, but yeah. But anyway, after escaping, of course, like the whole bit and the whole Sid thing, she seems to like. It seems like this is finally building up to more of a conflict between the Bad Batch and Sid, where she's getting a bit annoyed with the fact that, of course, why aren't you doing businesses thing for me? And this is like the first time she's actually threatening him with information, and it's interesting to see how the Bad Batch clearly want to separate ties with her and all that stuff, but they just know it's a bit complicated and all that stuff. So yeah. But I do find that a bit of a conversation here with like Omega and the Bad Batch here about how she needs to learn other skills besides being that of a soldier. But I do like a Wrecker enjoying the mission for a change. But I do find it how interesting how Tech seems to think what's wrong with what we're teaching her, but or the issue because, well, Tech isn't really known for socializing and all that stuff. But yeah. But let's see. But yeah, Sid is like the whole mutual beneficial arrangement, which is they don't really see it as much, but yeah. But yeah, but it is interesting how let's see, Fee just agrees with them that she's not really got they're not exactly mutually beneficial as she has taken advantage of them a few times. And seems to wouldn't be afraid to Ritzy give out info to the Empire, which I wouldn't be surprised if, given the fact the Empire now wants to try and find Omega, Ritzy, since the episode's hinting that the Empire, Ritzy, when the first episode of the season hinted that the Empire would eventually come to Ord Mantell. They might capture Sid and force it through the information on Omega, but that's just the same for her own skin, but we'll have to wait and see on that bit. But I do like how Fee says since you can't really cross Sid, she can take them where, and Pabu, which it's a nice island, I will admit, and it's kind of nice seeing the sort of like a place where refugees go and try and live out their lives and all that stuff. I do like the temple. It kind of reminds me of like the temples you explore, some of the temples you explored of that alien race in Jedi Fallen Order, where you were trying to find the pieces of the holocrons and all that stuff, or the bits and clues to like unlock the holocron. So yeah. Lost civilization. That might even be it. That might even be one of their like temples and all that stuff. But yeah. So So it's interesting how we end up seeing a sort of a different side of V, where her treasure hunting is actually to try and get some of her treasure hunting is actually to try it and collect the refugees' cultural items and bring them back so they can still keep their cultures alive. So a liberator of treasure she probably is indeed for a fact. And it's interesting that she's considered this place like her adopted homeworld. So yeah. So she isn't that much of a scummy pirate. She just likes double crossing criminals and all that stuff. So yeah. All outsmarting crooks, if you will. But yeah, pretty much nice detail in the character. But I am curious to see if she's only just going to be in like filler things or the more plot focused things. But I do like her interactions with Tech, where there may or may not be a thing going on, but it might be just more one side. She might just be flirting. because Rekka teases how who Tech's got competition when you see the mayor here and hug and all that stuff. I do quite like his design. He's about as big as Rekka, but a bit more it's a bit more round, if you will, the best to describe it. So yeah, there was a bit of a funny bit of he ended his handshaking Rekka, so I thought that was a bit funny where it's like because of how strong he is, but yeah. Anyway, I do like how he seems to be a very nice character at the very least, and is welcoming to like the Bad Batch. Seems to know everybody here, so it's quite popular for a mayor, and just trusts Fee's judgment, and it's interesting to see the fact that Omega does end up having a human friend, a friend her age with this Lana and all that stuff, because like Fee mentioned, she needs friends who are looking at in her age and not like genetic altered clones and all that stuff. And you end up seeing how happy she is when she's playing with Lana and all that stuff. And even the Munya monkey-like things, who apparently were here before any other residents. So that's a little bit of interesting lore about some of the native species on this planet, or at least island. So yeah, but I do like how, due to the peaceful nature of this place, you do see Hunter complimenting that, this might be a good place to stay and relax for a while, not having to deal with the Empire, lay low, or Sid. So I do like how he seems to compliment it and all that stuff, with like Tekka picking up. But I do think the funniest moment for me is like, for once, Rekka's full and can eat another bite, which Tech decides to write down on data for the soon stoic moment because he's never been full before. But of course, he's got room for dessert, which is all the fruits there. Anyway, but with such a peaceful thing, let's see, there isn't much conflict to be had here. So they decide to do a disaster event with like tsunami things, and yeah, it is interesting that the tremors. I do like how they build up with it, like Hunter sensing something's wrong with all the lemurs, and Munya, and the Tritzy are hearing the sound, and then you have the others hear it. Tritzy. And the mayor tries to say it's like usually just minor tremors, but as it gets worse and worse, it's clear to be a like giant tsunami. Now, granted, the tsunami not bad for nature threat, but I feel like there was no really suspense because I don't think anyone was going to die, and clearly it didn't because, well, granted, the mayor looked like he might have died last minute. I thought they might have added some tragedy there, but nope. Rekka has managed to save him, so yeah. So I didn't really feel much suspense with the whole thing because I knew everyone was going to survive this because this was like a very light-hearted episode. It wasn't dark like last week's with like the death of the clones and all that stuff, which does show you just how the tones of the Bad Batch seems to in many ways follow its process of the Clone Wars, where like you have very dark episodes, very mature action one, and then you have like the more light-hearted or more political talking ones. So yeah. But I do like how Omega bonds with Lana on the ship, telling them how she lost her home due to the Empire of Kamino, and how she experiences the water here different from like the Kamino's ones. But yeah, but of course they end up having a bit. But of course they end up need to be rescued from the ship to try and build a bit of tension because like they're furthest away from the island. The tsunami's coming in and all that stuff. Their boat's destroyed. But then again, I kind of felt like the boat didn't get. I felt like the boat. But then again, when the boat crashed into those rocks, I felt like it should have shown a bit more damage to show how devastating everything. The boat looks like it was mostly in one piece, but I guess I wasn't paying too much attention. But I need to probably recheck that. But yeah, of course, Hunter saves Omega. But yeah. I do think there's a bit of a funny bit with Rekka carrying that elderly guy. I believe his name is. Let me just get it up again. Oh yeah, Inetta and all that stuff. So yeah, it's like, wait, what's going on? Where are we going? Oh, why are you holding me like that? Let's see with her Rekka. Other than that, I do like how Tech and Fee teaming up to Gritty bring a ladder to like bring down some ladders that are built in. having to try and dislodge them and all that stuff. But granted, I don't see how the ladder was faster than running up the stairs, to be honest. But even if it was crowded, but I guess more options for different ways of escaping. But I guess it really depends on how fast the climbers are, those who climb the ladders. But like I said, not much damage to like the episode. No one dies, but the city's damaged, and which will take a few rotations. I do like how it shows the devastation and how people are looking and feeling from the aftermath of like refugees and all that stuff. So yeah, everyone's just put the mayor looks on the positive at how everyone's survived and they can rebuild. But yeah, I would like the bit at the end where you have Omega, Lana, and Wrecker just sleeping together. I think that's kind of touching. But yeah, I do like how Hunter and Tech just agree to Fee and Med how they're going to stay for a bit, telling them they're going to stay a bit and help out. And the mayor just welcomes them and all that stuff. So yeah. So it's interesting that this place seems to be where the Bad Batch is going to have their base for a while. My guess, at least, until the Part 2 season finale, which is the Summit and Plan 99. Now, yeah. Now, whether or not this island's going to be in the next episode, Tipping Point, before we know, that might just be the Rex and Echo episode. If so, I need to get my Echo avatar out. But, yeah. Overall, this episode is rather quiet, to be honest. I mean, there's not much I see going on, to be honest. It's mostly a fill. I mean, the opening was arguably fun with like the trade-off for like the artifact and a bit of a gunfight thing. But other than that, let's see, it's very quiet. I mean, on one hand, it's kind of nice seeing a peaceful place and see learning where people are going, seeing how some people who are refugees from war have tried to try to find a place of a sanctuary and you have people like V trying to keep their culture, helping keep some of their culture alive by collecting their artifacts and treasures. So it's showing a bit more of a good side to V's character and all that stuff, at least more reasonable than Sid, which I do like how we got a bit of an update with like, yeah, we're just trying to cut ties with her and she's not happy about it, getting really fed up. So yeah. But I do feel like this tension with like the tsunami was not that much. In fact, kind of zero for me, but yeah. And it took out at least the last half of the episode. So yeah, overall, I'd probably give this like a 6, maybe a 7 at best out of 10. Let's see. To be honest, it feels like filler and all that stuff. I mean, it was a nice calm before the storm kind of episode, but with like the last 2 episodes being really exciting, it kind of feels like a bit of a letdown. But I guess 1 or 2 episodes need to be a bit fillerish. But yeah, though I'm hoping that if Bad Batch are gonna be here, Fee's gonna help them out a bit in the 2-parter. Since okay, you've been coming up to this character quite a bit, so you must gonna be using her for something. And at the very least, it seems to be at least an ally, at least for the most part. But yeah, because in some ways, having her around does make up for the lack of Echo for the Bad Batch's muscle. But who knows? Crosshair might soon refill his old post. But yeah. For now, the Bad Batch are on this island of Pabu. Now, whether or not we're going to see more of the Pabu in the next episode, or if it's going to change to something like Crosshair or Echo, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let's see. But I have a feeling that I won't be staying long here because, well, let's see. You got the 2-part finale and all that stuff. So yeah, and maybe some stuff with Sid. But overall, yeah, 6 to 7 out of 10. That's all I really have to say. I'm Blue Star Saber. May the Force be with you. Thank you and goodbye. I hope you've enjoyed what I've had to say. So, so long now, and I am done.